Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Connect, president of Universal Accounting Center, and this is a podcast dedicated to helping individuals like yourself, owners, operators of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses, basically helping you work on your business, offering quality services, getting paid what you're worth, becoming, as I refer to it, as the premier accounting firm in your area. Now on the show, we actually have guests each and every week to focus on various aspects of running a successful business, ranging from marketing to mental health, pricing to tech stacks, just a variety of things that you can consider as you're working on your business. Each of these episodes are intended to give you little insights, tidbits of things that you can take and implement in your company, and in essence, not only thrive, but have a successful company offering quality services. Now, in doing all this, I'm excited to have Heidi Ryder on the show. She is someone I've been excited to share with you only because of the fact she is the owner of Keepful. Both her and her team love teaching, marketing, and helping others. Each of her members on the team actually manage their own successful bookkeeping businesses. They understand the industry from the inside out. And with Keepful, they automate the marketing so that bookkeepers and accountants can get back to crushing the numbers and strategizing with their clients. So Heidi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to get to talk with my friends, basically, it feels like.
That's exactly right. We are friends. And as a bookkeeper, I'm sure this is going to be very insightful because you have a practicing business and clearly you're in a position to offer some wonderful insights. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to start with a little bit of an origin story. Tell me a little bit of how you got into bookkeeping and became a bookkeeper.
It was my love of numbers. I was originally a math teacher. I taught middle school math in the outskirts of Atlanta. Hated it. It was not the thing for me. So when I found out I was pregnant with my first, I really wanted to stay home and I didn't know what to do because we needed some sort of income in addition to my husband's. So I started researching ways to make money from home, and I found all this information on, starting a bookkeeping business. And I was like, might as well try it, see where it goes, right? So I took the Bookkeeper Business Launch course, found out that I actually love running a business. I'm good with numbers. I don't mind bookkeeping, but the part that I love is the conversations with my clients and growing and managing my team and my business. And it has been such a blessing and such a perfect fit for me. But it was kind of happenstance, I suppose. If you believe in coincidences, that's what it was.
I love it. I love it. Well, as a practicing bookkeeper, I'm sure you've got a number of insights, especially moving from the school world, the academic world, into servicing small business companies. So one of the things I want to now kind of dive into is a discussion about marketing. One of the things that a lot of people struggle with is obviously getting clients, growing their business, and they always are wondering what those next little tidbits or nuggets are that they could actually implement in their business to acquire the clients they deserve. And so as we have a conversation about marketing, I'd like to first start with, what have you found the difference to be between marketing and sales? How would you define those two?
So marketing is, in my opinion, attraction and repelling, where you are putting brand awareness out there and you are attracting your ideal clients. Part of attracting your ideal clients is repelling those that aren't. There are clients out there that are not a good fit for your company. They just don't fit seamlessly. And so part of marketing is both the attracting and the repelling, and really just letting people know you exist, because there's a lot of business owners out there that need a bookkeeper, but they don't know you exist. So that would be marketing in a nutshell, if you will, is making people know you exist. And then the sales aspect is kind of fine tuning that. Are we a good fit? And why me and my business over, Joe Blow down the street that owns an accounting firm, right? Because we're not the only bookkeepers and accountants out there. There's more out there. So kind of identifying, like, are we the best fit? Why us over them? And I don't really want to say convincing, because a lot of times people already know they need a bookkeeper. It's just kind of making sure that that marriage is ready to happen, essentially.
Beautiful. I loved how you described marketing as both acquiring or attracting clients, but also at the same time, repelling. There are those that are not a good fit, whether it be industry, personality types. I mean, there's a variety of things that you could use to say they're not a perfect fit for what you're looking for as an ideal client, but clearly we want to attract those that would be. And so there is that dual component of marketing. And then as it related to sales, you are right. It's probably not the convincing. They obviously see the need, but it's helping them realize that what it is you offer is of value. And more importantly, you're the right person or the expert to provide that service. And once that's been answered, they're ready to actually sign and become that new client of yours. So as you mentioned marketing, you brought up the word branding. What does branding mean?
So branding is, and this might be a little unique of a take, but branding is really the client experience. A lot of times when people think branding, they're thinking, oh, like logo, colors, which all of that is a piece of it.
Uh-huh.
But in the grand umbrella, if you will, it's more of what is the client experience. And that the colors go into that because colors gives a feeling.
Yeah.
It's part of the experience. Logo gives a feeling. It's part of the experience and your personality, because at the end of the day, accounting, as much as it's about numbers and being behind a computer, it is person to person. You are business owner to accountant. It is that relationship. And so a brand is conveying that relationship to strangers in mass without you having to have a conversation with every single one of them.
So this idea of branding, yeah, there's the traditional school book kind of approach of color and logo and so forth, but you're saying it's more than that. It's the experience. What is it that you feel is unique about the bookkeeper accounting experience where you're able to actually wow the client? Is it the onboarding, the client interaction? What would you say is that thing that takes it up a notch?
I think it is the communication. I have had so many clients come to me saying, I can't get a hold of my accountant. I want answers, but I don't understand the language they're telling me. So it's really a breakdown in communication between bookkeepers and accountants and their clients. So, how you can really stand out is to make sure that you prioritize communication that they understand. Because obviously, bookkeeper to bookkeeper, accountant to accountant, we understand financial statements, we understand what we're talking about. But when you talk to the business owner, there's a lot of times a breakdown in that communication. And so being able to kind of step around that or step over that and meet them where they are and make them feel, because there's obviously, when we're talking about finances, there's shame, there's embarrassment, there's all sorts of feelings that they have around their business finances. And that's why they're coming for help. So being able to kind of step around that, meet them where they're at, and then pull them into a better place, that's kind of how you wow them throughout the whole journey. And that's from initial conversation all the way to 10 years down the road when you're still serving them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad that you brought up the words shame or embarrassment. One of the things that I have experienced working with clients, whether it be in the marketing sales phase or it's that client, I've already acquired, is they don't know their accounting like I either want to know their accounting or do know their accounting. And there is an embarrassment. They're running a successful business. Maybe they're struggling. But the point is here they are running a company and they just can't answer what we would consider to be obvious questions. And so that embarrassment can really kind of put them at a disadvantage where they feel maybe intimidated by us. So I'm glad that you're bringing up those words because we don't want that to be the experience that they're having with us. We want them to feel comfortable, safe, and more importantly, be able to answer those questions of therefore what. So when you're talking about accounting, clearly you see it more than just as a commodity, these financial reports that they're paying to have done. It's more of that experience of helping the client make more informed business decisions because of the interactions they're having with you. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. Numbers are great, but they're only as good as you use them. So if you have the financial reports, which a lot of business owners, they don't even have that yet. But getting those in order, it's not just for tax time. It's for them to be able to see, like my niche is chiropractors. And so I literally just had a chiropractor the other day say, hey, when can I hire an associate? And so that started a whole other conversation.
Mm.
But you're using your numbers at that point, and that's where the magic is.
Oh, I love this because that's right. The question of therefore what? Now that I have this information, I can make more informed business decisions, but now where can I go from here? And that dialogue is definitely something that should be occurring with the accounting professional, but too often they don't know what to ask, how to ask. And so to open that door and begin that dialogue is so helpful. So from a marketing point of view, what's one piece of advice you'd give to an accounting professional as it relates to marketing their services that maybe they're missing out on?
A lot of times I see, and I've worked with a lot of bookkeepers and accountants, and a lot of times I see they're looking at it from their perspective. And when it comes to marketing, we have to kind of get out of our shoes and get in our prospect's shoes. And this is for their experience, for reaching them, for speaking their language. And this, a good example of this is when I first started, I made my own website and I had this whole like message I was going to share, right? I went to my first networking event and I shook someone's hand and I shared my message. They the look on their face was so blank. They had no idea what I was talking about. It was
Yeah.
not speaking their language. And I see that so often because for us, as bookkeepers and accountants, things are black and white. We work in numbers, we work in facts. That's how we deal. So a lot of times we're like, why doesn't this make sense? Like, this of course makes sense, right?
Yep.
So being able to kind of step out of our shoes, put ourselves, and this is, it's hard to do until you pick one person and you pretend you're them. Think how you think they think. Go through with their experiences when they come to your website, when they come to your messaging, when they see this or that. What are they thinking? How are they thinking? And if you're close with them, obviously you can even ask them and just have an open dialogue to see how they experience life or how things look through their perspective. But I see a lot of people skip that step, and they, as great as ChatGPT is, it also skips that step sometimes. So it can be difficult, but you have to be intentional about stepping out of your perspective and into someone else's perspective, your ideal client's perspective. How do they feel? What do they think? Does it make sense to them?
You've alluded to something that I really speak to quite often, and I just did an address the other day where we dove into taking the reviews that we receive from our clients and leveraging them from a marketing point of view. And you've alluded to it in the sense that what we need to do is go to our ideal clients, those who we're already doing business with, and ask them point blank, why is it that you pay for my services? What is it that you like about the experience you're having with us? And all of a sudden, what's going to happen is they're going to tell you what matters to them. And honestly, there are times when they produce this review, this testimonial of sorts, what they're going to do is share with you typically things that you weren't even considering. You thought maybe, and I'm just making up things, maybe it was price that you thought you were competitive on. That's why people came to you. And you come to find out they like the fact that you're very informative and that you're easily approachable and you're readily available. And they're going to start telling you things that I think you can then leverage in your marketing simply because that's what matters to the clients you have now. That's what resonates with them. Well, let's turn that around and say that for those business owners that look for somebody that's approachable, that's somebody that's readily available, somebody, you start to take those same terms that they've already used in their description and put them into your marketing, and you become that much more relatable to the clients that you're seeking anyway. So great insight on what it was you shared there. Now, one of the things that I want to now dive into is I know that you also speak to AI, how to use AI as part of this marketing method. What would you say to that?
So it is fantastic when it comes to writing content
Mhm.
for marketing specifically, because I found, again, working with a lot of bookkeepers and accountants, our strong suit is not language typically. So creating marketing content, especially when it comes to writing about ourselves and our services, we struggle, or maybe I just do, but it's a common thing I've seen. So ChatGPT can really help with this. But the key is to creating prompts that don't make it textbook responses, because you can get a lot of long words, long responses. And when it comes to marketing online, people don't like to read long things. So you want to make sure your prompts are really good, but it can be super valuable in helping you get your message out there. So you're never starting from a blank page. And then obviously you want to make it your own, because that is what is unique about what we do. It's very relational. And so when you take a textbook answer and you spin it and you make it your own, that's how you can shine through. But without agonizing over like what all needs to be included in this, you have the basis to start from, and now you can take it and make it your own.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is very important here for my listeners is, first of all, the word prompt. So let's talk about that in a moment. But at the same time, I like how you ended the process by saying you still have to make it your own. So for prompts, I'm going to have you define it. But just to kind of start this, consider your chat GBT, as you used it, the platform in which you're actually going to now talk to this intelligent entity, if you will, a person, right? And so through the prompts, you're asking questions, and it's through how you write your prompts and how well your prompts are written, how good you're able to ask the questions that determines how well the responses will be coming back. And so you're able to, through those prompts, get, I think, a very useful bit of information and then ultimately clean it up at the end. But what would you say about the prompts? Because as accounting professionals, I don't think many of them would consider themselves great prompt writers initially.
I think the key that I have found is letting it know who your ideal audience is. So back to that avatar again. Like, think of one particular client that you love and you want like 10 more of them, right? And then you just say you are blah 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 blah, and describe this, what is the business? What do they do? What are their struggles? And it goes back to listening to your clients again. I love how this all circles back to that relationship and communication with your client, because they are, just as you said, Roger, in your reviews, they're going to say it, but also during calls, they're
Mhm.
going to tell you what they're struggling with. They're going to ask you questions. And those can all be little bells going off saying, hey, these are important to them. So you can put that in your prompt too. You can make your prompt as lengthy as you want.
Oh, yeah.
But also, one thing, another trick that somebody else told me, I'm not smart enough to realize this on my own, but once you've gotten your response, you can put it right back in as a prompt and say, hey, read this and refine this as if you were so and so.
Yes.
And so you're kind of running it both ways to make sure it makes sense, but it also makes sense to the intended audience.
Yeah. One of the things that I can say is, having written a number of prompts, you can actually go in and just basically set the stage and really give it good, concise directions. So let's imagine, for example, I was writing an ad for, let's say, an online post. I'm just trying to make something up right now. So let's assume I'm going to be doing a post on LinkedIn, Facebook, and I just want to do something that would resonate with one of my potential customers. Well, I'm going to say to the prompt, or via the prompt, you're going to do a social post on Facebook. I need it to be so many words. I need it to have a cheerful tone, and it needs to address these talking points. And as you give these instructions, all of a sudden you enter that and it'll produce something. And then you, through additional prompts, you can refine it, make it shorter, make it smarter, give me a title for this. And through that interchange, you're going to actually get something that's useful. And as you indicated, you can then feed it back to itself and say, you're the owner of a business. Is there anything more that you'd want to clarify? But ultimately, whatever you get at the end, it still needs your fingerprint. It still needs your touch. And so at that point, you're 80, 90% of the way there. You still need to actually now take and maybe add into it some vocabulary that's more what you would expect to have people read you or hear you say. And all of a sudden now it is you. It is your prompt and not, or your content, and you're able to publish it for marketing purposes. Now, having all that put into place, one of the things I want to talk about is, oftentimes from a marketing point of view, accounting professionals hear things about funnels, websites, having an online presence. What value do you feel a website brings to an accounting professional? Why would an accountant want a website, first of all?
So I think there are two camps in a sense of the weight that's put on a website. There's one camp where it's like, oh, all your traffic's going to come from your website.
Mm, okay.
And neither extreme is correct, because then there's the other camp that says, there's no need for a website because you're not going to get any traffic from it. So I would say neither extreme is correct. In today's day and age, we have what some people have called, and I think I agree with them, a trust recession,
Mm,
where people have a really hard time just taking things at face value. So it's important for us as digital and even in person, it's important for business owners in general to have an online presence that reflects who they are. And that way they can be consistent. They can be consistent across Facebook, LinkedIn, all the different ways, because people have become investigators, just trying to make sure. There's a lot of scammers out there. And then there's a lot of people posing as others, because you can with AI, like you can pretend you're someone else, right? So I think the most important thing I would say for a website purpose is to be an accurate representation of your brand, because it's kind of your billboard, and it's where people are going to go to say, hey, is this person legitimate? Because then they're gonna look at your email address and they're gonna say, hey, does that match your website? Then they're gonna go look at that website and they're gonna say, hey, does that match who they say they are? And they're gonna do a little bit of investigation. And so being able to be present in all of those places and be consistent across them, that's I think the most important goal. And you might get clients from it. I've gotten a few clients that have booked on my website and whatnot, but I don't think that's the ultimate purpose.
exactly. Well, I'm going to kind of champion what you just said. They are the two extremes, the two camps of people, if you will, that this is going to be the be all end all of how you're going to grow your business, and nothing's going to come of it at all. The middle ground is, first of all, to recognize that because of our business, especially for those who are actually operating their accounting firms from their home, this is perhaps the brick and mortar that you're looking for when a business owner is trying to determine, are you actually in business? Because they can't come to your office per se. And so what you need is something that validates that you are in business, that you, like all the other business owners, have a staked in entry or interest in being successful as a business owner. And so it's not just some whimsical thing that you're doing on the side. You're serious about this. And that proof to that is the fact that you have this online presence. The second thing that I think that you said so well is then the email, for example. Do you still walk around with your Gmail or AOL type email where it's hotmom@gmail.com? I mean, does that really resonate that professional vibe that you're looking for? Or does it actually have, Roger at, and it's the name of your website? Well, that then further validates that you are in business. You've gone to the point of purchasing the URL, putting up a website, having an associated email. Okay, these are checking off minor little boxes to address that trust factor that you brought up earlier. In the networking, in the referrals, in the marketing, I've got something that at least validates I am in business, I'm here to stay, and I'm not going anywhere. Now, with that being said, you then brought up the fact that you can go to the extremes of, is the website going to generate leads, generate referrals? So you've got your business listing. I'm sure you can talk to that. But more importantly, the purpose of the website needs to have a call to action. So let's talk about, first of all, the business listing. What would you say to that? And then next, what would you say as to the call to action that should exist on the site?
Well, everything you put out should have a call to action. Your social media, your everything. And I would say with us, in general, and I'm going to very overgeneralization this, but bookkeepers and accountants are such the opposite of a salesperson that we tend to leave off our call to action. And it's so important that everything we do, because the people can learn about us and then be like, oh yeah, I want to take action, and then we don't tell them where to go and what to do. So everything that you put on, whether it's your business listing or your website or anything, have a call to action. And when it comes to call to action, you don't want a lot of hoops to jump through, because you're going to have fall off with every hoop they have to jump through. You're going to have one or two people fall off. So the quickest and most efficient calls to action that you can have, just so that at the very least you're getting their name, email, and phone so you can follow up with them. And that's the bare minimum. So whatever your call to action is, make sure you're gathering information about them, and make it as simple and seamless as possible. But when it comes to your website, at least you can have multiple, because you're going to have some people that want to just send a quick message and get an answer. You're going to have some people that want to pick up the phone and call you. You're going to have some people that want to email you. You're going to have some people that want to get on your calendar so they can schedule out a call. So being able to have a variety of ways for people to take action can be helpful on your website. The business listing, as far as like Google business listing, it's great. They've set new rules, as far as like getting listed. So if you're a new business trying to get listed, there's a few more hoops that you have to jump through to verify who you say you are.
Uh-huh.
But it is 100% worth it, in my opinion, because it's pretty much guaranteed that you'll be listed somewhere on the page. Whereas if you're just trying to rely on SEO, there are so many things, so many factors into SEO that it can be really hard to be listed on pages. So that business listing is key just for getting on there, becoming, people can find you finally. That can be super helpful as far as that. But yeah, always having a call to action, that is intentional in leading them to the next step that needs to happen.
Beautiful. So what we're discussing here, I think, are some excellent points for my listeners to understand that first and foremost, to kind of validate your existence, to solidify that you are in business, that website is that billboard, as you referred. It's that brochure that you're technically taking out. That's an electronic brochure online. Well, that's beautiful to have that. Boom, check. Let's go to the email. Done. We've got that. We've got our business listing. So if somebody's searching for the services or someone buy them, obviously we can show up more or less a free website. But now we're talking about action items, making sure that we're being intentional with our offers. When we reach out to somebody, have them find us, we need to be clear as to what that next step looks like. So now what I want to bring up is this idea of funnels. A lot of people hear this term as it relates to marketing, how we can use funnels to maybe capture that information that you were talking about earlier as a call to action of name, phone number, email. What is a funnel, and how can a funnel be useful as an accounting professional marketing their services?
So a funnel, in the very basic, if I just summarize it, it works a lot like a regular funnel, like that you would use, if you have this large container of something, you want to put it into a smaller container, right? You have this broad audience of the whole wide world, and you want to bring them into your system to eventually become a client. So as they're coming through your system, you obviously have the whole wide world. You're not going to get the whole wide world to schedule a consult with you. So the funnel is kind of bringing them into what is our end goal. And a funnel can start as basic as You want them to learn about you. That's that, that awareness piece of it. And then it funnels into now about them. So you're gathering information about them. And that piece, and that's typically where when people are referring to funnels, they're talking about like lead magnets, which is another fun word that people throw around. But you're trying to provide a piece of value in exchange for their information, because nobody just wants to give you information for no reason. So you're providing some sort of promise that you're going to then deliver on. And again, it's a very untrusting time. So being able to get together a compelling piece of value and delivering immediately and consistently, and even over delivering if possible, will really help that prospect continue to fall through your funnel and into that consultation and eventually convert to a client. Because they see consistency, they see you showing up and over delivering. So now when you give them a contract for services, they're much more willing to sign because they've already seen you deliver higher up in your funnel. So it really gives you a chance to kind of walk them through a journey without making them sign the dotted line, essentially.
I love this. Well, here's what I'm going to add to what you just shared, because the funnel basically is baby steps towards moving into that client relationship. And those baby steps, as you mentioned, that is partly a process of offering a lead magnet, something that they will, in exchange for their contact information, get in return. And so you're offering them something of value that's at least worth as much as their phone number, their email, and their name. Now, in that, you're bringing now that contact information into your circle to where you're going to be able to do some workflows, some automations, and we'll talk about those in a moment. But the thing that I liked about your explanation is the fact that as they move through the funnel, they're self-selecting, self-identifying, but along the way, they're also being educated as to the services you offer, how you're the expert. And ultimately, the whole goal is to find those people that are going to be refined to the point of now becoming that new client. And we don't know how quickly they may move through the funnel. Some may go quicker than others, but the whole intent is what's that customer's experience that you're managing to ensure that they're being not only educated as to your services, but they're being able to see you as that expert that they're willing to pay to have do the work. So all of a sudden, this funnel is nurturing that process. So having that nurture concept in mind to kind of finesse them along the way, to kind of grease that experience so that it accelerates. What is a workflow, and what are some things that may occur in a workflow now that you've captured that information through that lead magnet that you offered?
So there's all sorts of numbers on how many touch points it takes for a stranger to become a client. And it is surprisingly a lot. I've seen some numbers up like 20
Mhm.
touch points.
Yeah.
And I think it depends. Like there, you'll like, just like you said, you'll have some prospects that come into your funnel and then they immediately want to be a client. But then typically that's the unicorn. Typically you have to kind of, as you said, nurture them. I've seen some people refer to it as like take them on dates, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you're kind of courting them into becoming a client. So it really does, how cold they are when they come in. There's a lot of touch points. So when we get busier, we lose track of where people are. Typically, when it's a first client, maybe even a second one, like we can keep track. We can say, oh, I sent an email the other day to so and so. I need to follow up with them and see if they have questions or, whatever, continue to provide value. But when we start to get more clients, it can be really hard to keep track of where everybody is. And we think, oh, they signed up for this. They'll schedule a consult when they're ready. But business owners are busy. The good ones are busy. The ones that aren't busy are usually either too small for our services right away, or they have some other stuff going on. So because we're dealing with busy people, they need gentle reminders. And by giving gentle reminders, we are continuing to provide value. We're continuing to show up. We're staying top of mind, because the loudest bell is what we pay attention to. So if we can stay top of mind in their inbox, phone call, text message, social media message, whatever it is, a variety of ways, if possible, being able to consistently follow up means that you're there and you're ready when they're ready to convert, when they have the few minutes to schedule a consult or have a few minutes to, think about that tax bill that they just got and didn't like.
Yep. Well, one of the things that I think is important is the fact that you mentioned that there's these touch points that need to occur. Yes, there's that unicorn that may just follow real quickly through the process because they were referred, they have a need, bam, they're going to make the phone call. Let's meet tomorrow. You've got a client. But more often, it's that touch point of them being exposed to various things that make accounting a priority in their business, that they see the value in knowing these numbers, that they see value in working with someone who is an expert. And through those touch points, they're being basically educated as to why this is important, why they should be paying for it, why they should be receiving it, how it could help them in business. And through that education process, they're seeing you as the expert. Well, those touch points basically get them to feel more confident about exploring your services and talking to you, but to automate those things, to not have them as a checklist item of today as an accounting professional with all the things I need to do. Oh, I've got to remember, I've got to call these 10 people or email these 10 people, to automate this so that you actually have something that is working 24/7 in your behalf to nurture these contacts that you're working so hard to get as referrals, networking meetings, whatever the case may be. Now you've got this pool of people that are automatically being finessed through a workflow is, I think, invaluable. Would you agree?
I would. And because we're numbers people,
Uh-huh.
when you think about it, like when you look at, there's obviously tons of automation softwares out there, but when you're looking at the different ones, you can look at the price from a point of how many clients am I going to keep from falling through the cracks? Because a lot of times these softwares, if it keeps one client from falling through the cracks, it's paid for itself. And it's paid for itself every month over, right? Because it's typically your client's going to pay you now per month. So being able to, look at it from that perspective kind of brings it real in the numbers sense. Because we do, how many clients, I mean, when you think back to how many clients you've talked to or how many consults you've had that didn't become clients, there's a lot of people that we have on our Rolodex, if you will, um, that just never became clients, and they
Mhm.
have a need, and they're just maybe not ready immediately, or maybe they had a bookkeeper and now it didn't work out. I have some clients that I met 4 years ago, and it took them 4 years to finally decide, okay, Heidi's the one for me now. And it was because they had a bookkeeper when I first met them, and then they went through this and that, and then but being able to be there consistently, they didn't fall through the cracks when the time was right. So it is invaluable. The money really is in the follow up. That's what people say, and it is true time and time again.
Excellent. I love that phrase. Money is in the follow up. So, one of the things that I think is valuable from this is, as an accounting professional, as you're growing your business, one of the things that you have to recognize is there are ways to automate the sales process that allow you to have basically a salesperson on staff that is going to nurture someone for 4 years and not get frustrated, because it just basically puts them through something that is very simple and very easy: newsletters, emails, text messages that basically finesse that relationship to the point that when they're ready, they're going to reach out to you and schedule that appointment. So one of the things that I just want to kind of end on here is, you are the owner of Keepful, and Keepful is basically a CRM as well as a website for accounting professionals, where you're leveraging these proven workflows, funnels, and so forth to the advantage of your clients to help them actually grow their businesses. How would you define a CRM as what it is that they're getting versus a website? The CRM is so valuable. What could you say about that?
So it's taking all those sticky notes that all of us have on our desk and putting it into a software that's managing it for you. Before I use Keepful, obviously, in my business, and before I had the CRM system, I had a spreadsheet, I had a notebook, and I had post-it notes, trying to keep track of everything. And it takes all of that and it just handles it for you. So I don't want to say, it's just going to deliver clients to your doorstep, but in a sense, it kind of is, where it's going to, it's going to nurture them. It's going to keep track of where they are. And even, as far as it can let you know when, hey, there's a particular touch point that you need to pick up the phone and call them. It can let you know so that you're not having to remember. So it's taking that weight off of you. And it's also cleaning it all up by putting it in one spot and organizing it for you.
I like your explanation. Yeah, CRM is essential. Every business tries to keep track of its customers, its potential customers, tries to keep their contact information readily available, places to record notes, just a lot of things that are going on as you make all these contacts. I'm old enough, it was a Rolodex, 3x5 cards. It's kind of keeping those organized in various hanging folders. Well, the point is all that's been digitized, it's been automated, and that's what the CRM does. It's that one place that you're keeping, as you would expect, a contact contact list. You're able to say what stage of the conversations you're in. You're able to actually manage that experience simply because of the fact that you know what that journey should be for your client, and you're able to actually make sure that they're experiencing as you would expect. So one of the things that I want to do here is you run a successful bookkeeping business. You obviously have this Keepful service that you're offering to accounting professionals to help them grow their businesses. As a business owner, what's something that you're grateful for that having these businesses has afforded you?
I became a teacher because I wanted to make a difference,
Hmm.
right? We kind of all, at the heart of all of us, we want to make a difference in the world.
Yeah,
And so part of me was like, I'm going to lose that when I'm not a teacher anymore. But I started realizing that I am making a real tangible difference because my clients are making a difference in their communities.
hmm,
It's just a full ripple effect, right? My clients are making a difference in their communities. I'm making a difference in my client's life. And now that I have a team, I'm making a difference in my team's life too. So it's being able to still make a difference in my own unique way using my talents that I've been given. I think that's my favorite part of what I do. It's like I didn't have to give that up when I stopped being a teacher.
I love that. That is beautiful. What do you hope that your children are taking as they watch you as their mom run a successful business?
Work ethic. I really want them to see that hard work is what pays off. Nothing comes easy.
Hmm.
Nothing worthwhile at least comes easy. But I also want them to see that it's important to keep a balance. You work hard so that you don't work hard just to work hard. You work hard so that you can do the things that matter, so that you can make a difference in people's lives, so that you can show up for your family, so that you can go on that trip that you've always wanted to. Whatever it is, make the memories. That's why you work hard. So I want them to see kind of the two sides of it. You work hard, but you work hard for a reason.
I like that. That's beautiful. And clearly, well, not clearly, but so that everyone knows you're running two successful businesses from home. So you're still doing that as many people would expect. So I want to ask, what are you grateful for?
Oh, there's a lot. I'm grateful for the blessings that I have. Like life is not easy for anybody, but the blessings that I can see throughout my entire life, just the path that I believe in God and the path that God has led me down. I am extremely grateful for the life I'm living. I never would have pictured myself here. I never would have envisioned being the owner of one business, much less two. And it's just I'm grateful for my everything in my life basically at this point.
That is wonderful. I appreciate that. Just the sheer emotion of it, I think, is very, very telling. So thank you. One of the things that I'd like to do now is kind of wrap this up. We've had a wonderful conversation. Heidi's been so forthcoming with this that I think this is very important for us to kind of highlight. But before I proceed any further, I'd like to invite you, my listeners, to go to the episode description and take advantage of an offer that she has where she's providing basically a chance to learn about Keepful. Keepful obviously is this marketing tool that you can literally use to grow your business. There you can go learn about it and see a demo of it in use and how it might be applicable to your current situation. Whether or not you're in need of a website or a CRM, this is definitely something to learn more about. For more information about what we've been discussing today, what is a funnel? What is lead magnets? How can you utilize a CRM in your business and benefit from it? If you'd like to learn more, go to the episode description and see there a webinar that we've offered where we actually go over in detail the various elements of how this applies in your business and how literally you can actually benefit from utilizing these tools so that you can automate not only just the nurturing experience that you're providing to your clients, but just the workflows as it relates to your day-to-day activities in business. So definitely take a moment, go to the episode description and check out her demo and more importantly, the webinar as to how to leverage not only your website, but a CRM to your advantage and get the clients you deserve. In addition to that, I'd like to actually invite you to take advantage of the Accountrepreneurs Challenge. The Accountrepreneurs Challenge is for all of us. Basically, as you're running your accounting business, take this challenge to see what it is you can be working on to actually improve yourself personally and professionally to ultimately have the premier accounting firm in your area. It's a phenomenal challenge that I invite you to participate in. Each week, you're going to receive an activity, something that may take as little as 5 minutes or maybe perhaps an hour that week that you can work on to actually improve yourself personally and professionally and have the premier accounting firm in your area. Then, in addition to that, we spoke earlier of the training. We want to invite you to actually check out various programs that Universal Accounting Center offers to help you become a certified professional bookkeeper, professional tax preparer, or even a profit and growth expert for your clients and offer quality services so that they can actually run their businesses as they should with the information you're providing. Now, all of those things being considered, let me just kind of do a quick recap of what we've discussed today. Loved Heidi Heidi's story. Obviously, just as a math teacher, realizing there's something out there that she could be doing and finding that bookkeeping is that type of opportunity where you can successfully service the small business community from home, offering quality bookkeeping services and meet their needs as it relates to accounting services. What a wonderful journey. And then to have the success that she's had over the years, enabling her now to have a second business, Keeful, where she's now assisting the accounting profession in implementing the proven strategies that she's learned so that they too can also go out and get the clients that they deserve, what we each need in the marketing respect. Now, one of the things that I also appreciated in the conversation is we dove a little bit deeper into what is marketing, what is branding, what is that messaging that we're taking to the clients? How can we leverage not only the reviews we're receiving so that we can, in our messaging, state what matters most to the current clients that we have and draw on more of them, but we also spoke of how to actually utilize AI to assist us in more quickly coming up with that marketing message and how we, through prompts, can more refine what it is we're trying to actually say and then put our fingerprint on exactly what it is that we create. What a wonderful shortcut to actually assist us in being more effective with our time in creating those proven marketing messages that we're trying to do wherever they may be. The other thing that I really thought that was helpful is we talked about websites, the value of those. They're not maybe that extreme of it's the be all end all of where you're going to get your clients, and it maybe not be the other extreme of it's not going to serve at all. There's that middle ground, and we spoke of how to utilize one. We talked of the value of having a specific email associated with your website. We spoke of the value of funnels and how we can utilize funnels to automate our process to nurture people through to that experience of becoming a client. We talked about lead magnets, why they're valuable to get the exchange of their contact information so that we can put them into a workflow of sorts that can nurture that relationship. Lots of valuable insights that I felt were very applicable to what we were discussing today as it related to growing your business. And then the last thing, just hearing her speak of her children and what they're learning from seeing her actually go out and be successful as an entrepreneur. And then lastly, that of her gratitude. We do need to have that gratitude mindset, just realizing how much we're blessed. And I appreciated her bringing that up and sharing her faith. So with all that said, Heidi, what would you like to leave as a final thought?
Don't lose sight of the why, because we all have a reason why we started our business. And a lot of times when we get caught up trying to grow it or with the hustle or the whatever, we forget kind of why and we lose sight of that. And so just it's always good to come back and remember, whether we put it up where we can see it or we write it out or we just take moments to come back to it. It can help us make decisions even in how we move forward, but not forgetting it is the key.
That is beautiful. Yeah, sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day, all that busy work that we're doing, that we forget why we're doing all this. Yeah, we don't work to live. We don't live to work. We work to live. And that's one of the things that I'd like to emphasize. I think that's well said on your part. So thank you. So with all that being said, obviously for you listening, if you haven't yet subscribe to the podcast. We'd love to have you as a listener. Join us each and every week as we have on the show guests to share with us various things that we need to consider as we're looking at growing our businesses, from the marketing like we discussed today to pricing, selling, tech stacks, mental health, just a variety of things to consider as you're working on your business to become the premier accounting firm in your area. In addition to all of that, one of the things that I want to invite you to do is go to universalaccounting.com. There you'll find free resources available to assist you as you're working on your business, from books to free courses, just a variety of things to assist you as you're actually working to build the premier accounting firm. In addition, at universalaccounting.com, you'll actually find in the episode or in the navigation, the podcast section where we have episodes recorded as highlights, basically playlists that you can actually binge listen that really are organized based on your current situation, whether it be things that you're trying to focus on related to marketing, maybe it's tech stacks, maybe you're curious about mental health. Binge listen what we've actually discussed with experts previously so that you can actually dive deep into those matters that actually mean the most to you today. In addition to that, I want to invite you to GrowCon. There in the navigation, you'll see an event called GrowCon. It's an annual conference where we get together with the experts, actually having them present from the stage those things that we need to consider with our business today. You also get to meet with your peers, those individuals that are accounting professionals who are committed to focusing on their business. You get to build great friendships. You get to actually network with them, and as well, perhaps even collaborate, find different services that may complement the things you're doing, and perhaps exchange business ideas. It's a wonderful opportunity to actually see what your peers are doing. Lastly, you get to meet my staff, those individuals committed at Universal Accounting who are there to assist you so that you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself with Universal Accounting. This is an event you do not want to miss. I invite you to get your ticket today and join me, and I look forward to seeing you there. Lastly, what I'd like to point out is if you'd like to learn more about programs designed to help you start and build a successful business, such as training you and your staff to offer quality accounting services, to focus on things ranging from marketing, pricing, selling, to onboarding the clients, and so much more. Check out the programs at universalaccountingschool.com or give us a phone call. You can reach us at 801-265-3777. Always remember this: accounting success is universal. Take care and be safe out there. Have a great day. Heidi, that was awesome.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. Did you have fun?
I did. It was a really good conversation. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, really good. So here's what's going to happen. This has actually gone live already, so it's online. But what I'm going to have you do is record a promo piece that I put in that chat. That promo piece is what we're going to use to promote the episode when we actually release it as a podcast episode. So when you're ready, I'm going to have you just record that for us.
Okay. Hey, this is Heidi. It was incredible and a wonderful, encouraging conversation that we had to record. I had that conversation with Roger on an episode of Building the Premier Accounting Firm. We discussed everything from the client experience to how to automate and be consistent with your presence online and a whole bunch more. I invite you to listen and join us.
Perfect. All right. So here's what's going to happen. Obviously, this is online already, so I'd encourage you to go find it. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's on LinkedIn. Go like it. Go share it. Do what you can for you to be able to utilize it. We'll have some shorts that we'll put together that I'll be able to share with you as well that you can repurpose. And then when the podcast episode is done, when we release it, we'll email you and let you know that it's gone live, and we'll encourage you to do the same. Like it, share it, promote it, and utilize it how you can. Any questions at all?
No, this is great. I really appreciate you taking the time to let me join.
You're very welcome. So 2 more things. I know that we've got some communication going on regarding the current offer as it relates to the CRM or to the webinar. So I am curious where we can, focus on that and actually change out that form, the purchase form. So that's one thing. I know that we were talking about a website link or affiliate link. I think you already gave it to me. We just have individuals that are not interested in the webinar. They just want to know what is it that we can offer. And I'd like to be able to send them that link. So I think you've provided it already. So those are 2 things that I think I have as emails that I can do as action items. But is there anything more I can do for you?
I don't think so. I think right now my main issue is trying to get our agency billing situated because I can't update the website. I can't update our affiliate program. I can't update anything until I have that. So everything kind of falls into place, which it's not as simple. Of course, it's not as simple as they originally said, but I am working with the team and trying to get it action. I was hoping to have it done by today, but
okay. Well, once you have that, those are some of the priorities that I have. And then I know that we have communication regarding how we're going to handle the pricing. So I know that that's a conversation. So we'll figure out that. But yeah, if there's anything I can do for you, feel free to still communicate. And then I do plan on inviting you to that 1 monthly meeting that I mentioned.
Perfect. Yes, I would be happy to join. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Anything else that we need to discuss?
I think we're good. I will follow up once I get some solutions. I will follow up.
Perfect. Brian, on your part, anything more I can do for you?
No, I don't think so. Do we do the promo already?
Yep, we're doing that next.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, then I'm not going to stop the recording. So
okay, you're good. So Heidi, you're out of here. You're done.
Wait.
Hold on.
Did you do the? Did
promo?
you read the script?
Yep, she